I can name for you 10 people off the top of my head
that say to me,
tell me that their partners have said, okay, Erin.
Oh, people say it to me all the time.
Okay,
about you,
Erin.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, Erin, what else do you have to say, Erin? But they're really talking to their partners because they do not believe that their partner ever in a million years could have concocted anything that sounds at all like what they're saying unless they were influenced by me. Like I'm some freaking cult leader or something.
People say it to me all the time, including, I mean, everybody.
Yeah. What? Okay, Erin?
Yeah. All
right.
All
the time. Because you're not capable of having your own thoughts and opinions. Like you're just so highly walking around influenced all of the time.
Yeah.
It's like our whole conversations is not, here's your answer, Rebecca, and you go traipsing right back into your home and you say this, that, and the other thing. I would never. But the thought that I'm that highly influential, thank you, I guess, to people. We got a good one today.
I know, I'm excited.
Another good one. So,
we always have good ones.
I know. Well, at least we think we do.
I mean,
I don't know what everybody else thinks. I mean, to be honest, the Facebook page is growing and growing.
Yeah.
I think yesterday I approved 7 new people to be a part of our Facebook community. Yeah, which is really awesome.
And none of them were Russian. That was pretty good.
No, they were not.
So random.
Or from people trying to just impact our SEO or whatever the heck they're trying to do. Yeah. So 7 real life people. So hilarious. We must be talking about something somebody cares about, which is good. Oh, wow. You got to read all those cards that just fell on the table?
We're not doing that.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot of reading. Okay, we're going to keep going.
So our last session was on reframing your love story. And that was essentially how do we need to look at our marriage, our partnerships, our relationships from a different perspective. And I think that was a good session too.
Yeah, totally.
This one though, let me frame this question for you.
I'm excited.
Who influences your marriage?
I mean,
who influences? Maybe the title should be "Who influences your marriage and why is it your best friend?" I kind of like that one too.
It's this guy.
Oh, it's that guy.
Yeah,
man.
All right, so that's what we're going to be diving into today. We're going to be talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, about who influences your marriage, why they influence your marriage, and just some cautionary tales if someone is influencing your marriage, just to be aware of and to be mindful of as you continue to move through. So join us today if that is a topic of interest to you.
To me, yes.
So, as always, the Hippie View Tarot experience as a part of the More Love podcast will guide us in all of our future conversations for today's session. So who is this man?
As you know, our new version.
Okay.
We're doing it live.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Live on the air.
What she means by that is she shuffles the cards, and when one falls out, it's the spirit.
Instead of doing it during our prep, I'm doing it, right on the show. So this is King Triton.
Okay.
The king of the ocean, and it's order. He's sitting in his merman throne.
Yep.
And he is looking straight out with his...
Can I see the card?
Spear thing. His what is that thing called? Wand? I don't know.
Trident.
Trident, yes.
His trident.
He's the father figure.
He's got some great abs.
I know. It's kind of hot.
Great abs. Yeah.
So order. The king of the ocean is a symbol of order. So if chaos has ruled recently, know that order and balance will soon be restored. If any boundaries have been crossed, you will be able to reassert your territory. And for this reason, he reveals an end to the disputes. At home, you will soon be getting more organized. And at work, good leadership and management reign. As a person, the king is the ideal partner, or he stands for a father figure or father figure. So it's time to get your work, finances, or home in order and take control to protect your assets. You have the power. Very interesting.
Yep.
Very interesting. So focus, protection, wisdom, organization, authority, leadership, and boundaries.
Wow.
That's so interesting.
Wow.
Based on what we're going to talk about today.
I know.
Story of our
who
lives.
influences your marriage? Scott, if you could come into the bubble, please.
That's all right, Scott.
Well, we are just going to do what we call a rift, where I'm going to say who influences your marriage. This doesn't have to be your marriage in particular, but let's just brainstorm out loud all of the people or the influences that potentially have some say, or even if it's subliminal, in your marriage.
Okay.
So Ready, Scott? I'm going to start. Your neighbors. Ooh. Your neighbors. Your own parents. Go ahead, guys. Anytime you want to throw something out here, it's totally fine.
Just in general.
Oh, yeah. We're just brainstorming
it for us personally?
here. Yes. Anyone. Yeah. Or anyone.
For me, it's the Real Housewives franchise.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Love that.
For sure.
Yep. The Bachelor.
Nobody influences mine.
Okay.
This podcast does, Scott.
Yeah.
Okay.
The groups I work for.
Yeah, right.
Very much so.
Yes.
Very much
because
so.
you're so embedded in a bunch of different communities that are very unique and different from the traditional, middle class family life.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes, and we're always dissecting marriages.
Yep. That's a good one. I would say some of the relationships I've seen on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So a little social media influence there.
My friends' relationships.
Yep.
Yeah.
My best friends.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Influence my marriage via the conversations that we have on the regular.
You.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
You.
I mean,
Scott just left. Scott's bubble just went. He's like, I'm all set with this. Yeah. I'm all done. I'm not going to be influenced.
Kelly's friends influence our relationship in a way that, because all of her friends, I don't even know if I should say this. Most of her friends are married to douchebags.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
And so she gets to revel in the fact that I am not a douchebag.
Oh, so she has a positive influence because she gets to sit there
she gets
and
that positive reinforcement. Like,
nice.
Look how good I have it as compared to those people.
That's interesting.
Okay.
That's a good one.
She gets to brag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's a good one.
All right.
That's all I got.
I like this. If anything else comes up, feel free to shoot it out. But I think what's interesting about this is so many people, even people we don't even know, are influencing our relationships on a consistent basis.
Oh, I just thought of one.
Who?
The murder mysteries we watch.
Oh,
yeah. Oh.
For sure.
My favorite was that thing you sent me the other day of the woman who's creating her own binder of who is going to murder
up the
her.
street sent that to me. I pissed myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a binder.
She ends up dead.
Did you
this
see
is the people to look at?
This video is hilarious, Scott. It's like an entire binder full of if I'm ever on Dateline, here's some images I want them to use of me that are my best images.
Right.
My favorite was when she was like, here's some of my best friends who do their best staring off into the distance pose.
Right.
While looking out, while they're thinking about my death over a glass of water. Oh my God.
And here is the worst picture of my husband because he's the number one suspect.
That's right.
Anybody who watches those shows knows that you don't have antifreeze at your house.
That's right.
And succinylcholine.
And you do not use your own search bar to search things like how much antifreeze does it take to off my husband?
How do I kill my wife and not get caught?
That's right. That's right. That's a good one.
Right.
That's a really good one. That's another influence. So we sure as shit know that all of these things are influencing us. But in this topic, I was really honing in on the best friendship relationship. And when you have very close people in your life, they certainly are the people you're going to go to, that you're going to share all the down dirty details about. This is what's working, what's not working. Very rarely, even in our own relationship, do I think we're flocking to each other when things are so beautifully wonderful that we are just like, oh my God, let me tell you this very sweet thing that just happened. I mean, it does happen, but it pales in comparison to when we're pissed at our spouses or they did something that annoys us or whatever, right? And so I think about this best friendship dynamic and I think about the relationships we have with people and really, for real, what influence does it have when you run to your closest friends to talk about what's working or not working in your partnership? And that's what I'm hoping we can dive into a little bit today. Do either of you have any examples about ways in which you've leaned into someone and it has had an impact on your marriage?
Positive or negative?
Yeah. Either one. You too, Scott.
Crickets. I really can't think of, the only thing that that really had a real positive impact on my marriage was the marriage counseling. I mean, I can't. I guess I'm boring in the fact that I don't have very many friends that I go and hang out with all the time, and definitely I can't think of it. Maybe one of my friends or would be someone that I would look to for marriage advice. The rest of them, not so much.
It's funny you say that. I'm kind of tight-lipped when it comes to sharing things, specifically when it comes to being vulnerable. Number one. Number two, I don't really value a lot of advice from other people when I look at their lives, because what I'm watching them do is not something that I'm blown away by or admire. Therefore, they aren't going to give me any advice that would matter. Because frankly, actions speak louder than words, and therefore the people that I'm inspired by or am going to be influenced by I don't need to talk to. I just need to watch and take action by.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And you've always been very selective about
very selective.
Who's in your inner circle, and then who are you going to be taking?
Yes, and I talk through my own emotions and my own things, because I learned very early on that I can't change other people. I can only change me. So I talk through those things with you and then work through what I need to work through and then decide, is it worth it? And then once I do that, then I look to other examples on how to implement that. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I would say I'm completely dissimilar from the two of you. I would say I have 4 or 5 key people that I go to consistently.
It's like sounding boards?
For all things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I might go to you each differently for different topics or a range of topics.
Yeah.
But when I think about this a little deeper, maybe some of where this has come from was I've spent a great majority of my life just listening to other people and not feeling close to other people, because I would always wait for them to want to be interested in what was happening in my life, and that would never come. So I was just everyone's counselor in my friend group for a very, very, very long time. Somewhere along the way, that shifted for me. And I thought, if you really want to have genuinely close relationships with people, you can't just wait to be invited into those conversations. You have to offer something up. And so I would step very slowly into these relationships, and then I would test it. I would be like, do I like that? Do I not like that? Can you handle this? Can you not handle this? Right? I don't think it was conscious always on my part, but. Sure. And then because of that, I've really developed 4 to 5 beautifully close women friendships that I feel get me to my core.
Yeah.
And most importantly, I feel can be biased toward me, but not in hatred of my partner.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
It is. They're always going to cheer me on. They're always going to want what's best for me. They are willing to push back and say, I don't know, let me just think about that from a different perspective. Or have you thought that maybe this is happening? But never have I surrounded myself in this, at least in this really small group, with people who are like, here's your answer. You just need to do this. There is no other option here, and you need to call it a day.
Yeah.
Or have I surrounded myself with people who are just so anti my partner that they can't show me some of the goodness at the times where I'm most pissed or most upset about something?
Well, I don't think you would be able to hear that. And I don't know if you would even be able to spend time around people who would say things to you like that. How could you possibly be around people who would say bad things about people you love? I couldn't be.
I think a lot of people, so long as they get validated in the feedback they're getting from someone else, don't care who it hurts in the process.
And maybe
I do.
Maybe that's why I'm so tight-lipped, because I feel very strongly. I mean, you know how I go 0 to 100. If I am vulnerable for even a tiny little second, and if somebody says one thing that's off about somebody that I love, I can't. I can't. Right, Scott?
Yeah.
Right, Scott?
Right.
You like my texts?
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
I can't. I really struggle with that.
You guys, that has to be an episode.
I know.
We have to talk about that experience on a future episode. No, we did not.
We did not.
We have to talk about that. Coming up on the More Love podcast, the time where the podcast almost blew up.
Oh, no, it did blow
And
up.
it blew up, and
It just came back together.
and then in the beautiful comfort of the
There almost was no season 3.
middle area.
But that's how I am. Like it's very hard. That's why I don't get vulnerable, and I don't allow that kind of thing to show, because if I don't go there, then I don't have to go there.
Yeah.
And then when I do go there, it's very hard to come back, because you can't do things to the people that I love.
Interesting.
You just can't.
And the way I can relate with that is I don't like to have to be on the defensive for someone that I'm mad at. So if I'm real pissed at Mark because he's done something that I just cannot, and then someone comes in with how much they can't stand Mark, or why what he's doing is absolutely inappropriate and should be different, I feel like I have to protect him to share the other side of the story. And then I'm pissed about that. I'm pissed that I have to, now I have to be like, no, I know I hate him right now. He's pissed me off, but he's not a terrible human, and here's why. And now I'm pissed that I have to even support him in this conversation. I just want to be mad at him. I don't want you to also jump on board with hating him, right?
Exactly.
At the same time, because I'm the one who gets to hate him right now.
Yeah.
You just have to sit there and hate me, like
Just
me
the
hating him.
common thing.
Right.
Because I might get over it.
No, you will
right?
get
But
over
like,
it. Right.
I just need someone
Not
to
yet.
vent to.
Right.
Just someone to.
Yeah.
Right.
But this level of influence is so fascinating and so important. You've seen on these reality TV shows where these best friends will come in. You know, this is also real life. These best friends come in and they are the end all be all of the deciding factor of what's going on in that relationship.
That's right.
They are the person that you run to. They are the person that you kibitz with.
That's right.
They are the person that ultimately what they say holds way more weight than it does in your own relationship.
Yep.
In some cases, what they say matters more than how you feel about it, because I think people just surrender themselves to saying, I just don't have an answer, but Rebecca knows me better than anyone. And so I'm just going to trust what she has to say in this. Right. And so sort of trying to figure out what is healthy delegation of a conversation versus what is emotional avoidance of you managing it yourself is really freaking hard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then I can't, from a psychological perspective, also not think, what is the motivation on the part of the listener, on the part of the best friend, of the neighbor, of whomever, right? Because if that is not in check, it's like a therapist who's gone rogue.
Yeah.
You know? So like you're trained as a therapist to recognize where your own counter-transference or transference may be coming in. Experiences you've had in your own past life that are going to trigger someone else. For instance, if I'm a therapist and I'm divorced and I'm a couples therapist and I'm meeting with a couple, and something that the husband did was something that my husband did that triggered my divorce, I am more apt psychologically to encourage a divorce in that situation.
That's right.
For a multitude of different reasons.
100%.
And you're trained as a therapist to recognize that and then not go there.
Right.
Because that's not your job.
That's right.
Friends aren't trained.
That's right.
Like that.
That's right.
So let's say one of your
Totally
friends is in a miserable marriage.
Yes.
Hates their marriage so much. Misery loves company.
That's right.
Right?
I know.
And then let's say that, I just think from the partner's perspective, if I think about Mark and Philip, they really have to be real on board with the fact that you and I are so close that Philip has to keep me close and Mark needs to keep you close.
I know.
Because of the level of influence
I know.
that can exist there if we're unchecked.
Oh, yeah.
Unreal
Yeah.
levels of influence.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God we're perfect and we don't have this problem.
I know.
But,
So true.
but really, when you think
Yeah.
about the potential unhealthy boundaries that can exist in a lot of these relationships.
And the potential for threat, the potential for if you come out of nowhere in Mark's perception and he could 100% be like, oh, what were you talking to Rebecca?
Oh my God.
Oh, what were you? Oh,
This happens in my life a ridiculous
People say that to you?
amount. No, not about you. The opposite. I swear to God, I can name for you 10 people off the top of my head
that say to me,
tell me that their partners have said, okay, Erin.
Oh, people say it to me all the time.
Okay,
about you.
Erin.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, Erin. What else do you have to say, Erin? But they're really talking to their partners because they do not believe that their partner ever in a million years could have concocted anything that sounds at all like what they're saying unless they were influenced by me. Like I'm some freaking cult leader or something.
People say it to me all the time, including, everybody.
Yeah. What? Okay, Erin?
Yeah.
Right.
All
because,
the time.
Because you're not capable of having your own thoughts and opinions.
Yeah.
Like you're just so highly walking around influenced all of the time.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating to me is a majority of our conversations is me asking you questions.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me more about that. Well, what do you think about that? I do have some thoughts on that. Do you think that this is related to this? Like our whole conversations is not, here's your answer, Rebecca, and you go traipsing right back into your home and you say this, that, and the other thing. I would never. But the thought that I'm that highly influential, thank you, I guess, to people.
My entire training in my education has been to ask thoughtful questions. I'm a teacher. What is that called? I taught
the health educator.
Yes, and I taught seminars and leadership workshops for 20 years. To students. That's my MO. That's what I do. So,
oh my God, I've heard it so much from people who will come to me and say, well, I was telling them this, and I was going through what we talked about, and all I got was, okay, Erin.
Yeah. I know.
Apparently, I'm just alive and well in everyone's relationships. It's really fascinating.
Well, it's because I'm known for being the ditzy, dumb psycho person. So when I do talk in quote unquote therapeutic terms, that's when I become Erin the therapist, because I'm not capable of having an intelligent conversation, because I am the ditzy dumb blonde that can't possibly be intelligent. So the minute I become that, I must have been.
It's so starkly influenced.
Yes.
The other time I see it come up is when the partner asserts their rights.
Oh, yeah.
So when the partner says, this isn't appropriate and we shouldn't be doing this anymore. Okay, Erin.
Yeah.
So, I really thank you, everybody. I just like to take a moment that the times where people feel you've been influenced are when you're fighting for your own rights in your relationship, or when you say something intelligent or therapeutic, or when you actually take the conversation a little bit more than just surface level bullshit and decide that we want to impact people's experiences. Those are all Erinisms.
Apparently.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can think of a whole lot of other things that I would not want my name associated with, but if that's the case, great. Right?
It's really interesting. So that begs the question, are you a threat?
Interesting.
And I would say yes.
Yeah.
I would say no, honestly,
that's a fascinating question.
I would ask those partners.
Yeah.
I would ask those partners if they were to be completely honest, those people would not want their partners going to you to have conversations.
Right. That's right. And I become a threat because I think part of my style of questioning is making people think differently about their experience.
Sure.
And in addition to that, really get clear on who they are and what they want.
Yeah.
And those are things I don't think come in many natural, normal conversations. So it really is that person just asserting, I have some more clarity now, but that's very threatening to a dynamic in a relationship that has either been allowed to be dysfunctional or has been uncomfortable or in a different power dynamic.
That's all it is.
Than it has.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Exactly. And my husband's he's been around from the beginning, so he's just used to it.
Yeah, he just knows his role.
He's just used to it.
Knows his role. Yeah.
So
yeah. But so from a partner's perspective, I think it's interesting if the other person, let's say the best friend on the other side of the coin, is impartial and has the best interest of the relationship at heart, I think that serves as a really beautiful opportunity to reflect and to refocus on that relationship. If, however, the partner, the best friend, is very one-sided and is biased and does not like the, let's say, husband in this case, then I do think that it is a threat. I do think that it becomes a situation where every time you run to me to talk about something, if your husband doesn't trust that I'm coming from a place of peace and fairness, he's not going to love that relationship.
That's right.
And the question begs for me, is that a partner problem or is that a best friend problem?
That's a great question.
You know, whose problem is that?
That's a really good question. I just keep going back to the fact that the Secret Life of Mormon Wives just came out.
Sure did.
And
I started watching it and I had to stop. It was too much for me.
Okay. Well, I was listening to the Sirius XM radio station with Andy Cohen, because I love Bravo and all that shit. And they were talking about specifically Mormons in Utah and how the phenomenon with Mormon women and how typically that culture goes to college just to find husbands, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a reason why these women are the way that they are. And what's interesting with that particular cast is most of them are young. They're like 22, 23. Some of them are divorced. Most of them have children. The older ones in their 30s are still involved in this bullshit, right? And the reality is they have this high school mentality and they never evolve from that, which is why it's these constant cycles. And that is interesting to me. And I think to myself, they are perpetuating that mentality always. Yet I'm so far removed from that. And that was never my mentality, ever. And so when you don't evolve from that mentality, you're always going to be stuck in that mentality, which is where you have that, oh my God, my best friend's going to tell me this, so I'm going to value my best friend's bullshit opinion more potentially than, whatever, when reality is, my best friend should just be listening and asking the questions and really encouraging me to dig deep down and see what's best for me, not influencing what I think, what you think onto me based on your opinion of my partner. It doesn't matter if you like my partner or not.
Right.
Right.
This is what made me think of this. And what I'm hearing you say is emotional maturity. And I'm hearing you say
EQ.
Yeah. Right.
Let's not go there.
Remember when
you know who doesn't have EQ?
Remember when
the Mormon wives.
Remember when Scott was like, EQ? What's EQ? What does that mean? And we're like, well, if you have to ask, you don't have it. Remember? That's what you said? Poor Scott. Oh, you're a good guy, Scott. So this is what I was thinking. When I was talking to Nina the other day, and she was sharing with me an experience that she was going through, and I had a wicked strong reaction to it. And my wicked strong reaction to it was out of protection and out of love and out of care and out of like, we need to look at this from all of the angles. This is what needs to happen in this situation. And you know how I get when I'm in that place is
what do you mean? What do you, I can't possibly know what you mean.
Right, because you don't get it 24/7.
I don't possibly know what you mean.
She referred to it as Mama Bear Erin. And I'm like, okay, that's exactly what happens. It's like I throw reckless abandon to everything else. And I'm like, we got to fix this. Here's what's going on. Let me have a really strong, and there's no way I'm wrong about how I'm feeling about it too. Right. So I'm just like real in the face. And then unlike you and Nina, which I found out who have shame and guilt experienced after that, I don't feel any of that. I feel like you're going to take that advice. Your life's going to suck. That's what's going to happen. No. You're welcome.
I want to absolute die. In fact, I still want to die, Scott. I still have shame and guilt for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm.
So funny. It's so funny. Mm-hmm. But here's what's interesting. So Nina's partner had a very normal reaction to that, which was, oh, I feel like maybe she's mad about this decision.
Oh.
And Nina's response, just so beautifully, was, no, she's not mad at all. She just loves us so much that she wants to make sure whatever decision we make is going to be in our best interest. We're going to be safe. We're going to be comfortable. We're going to be okay. Whatever decision we make here is going to be fine. And in that moment, I was like, oh my God, she sees me.
Yeah.
She sees me.
Yeah.
And I said, I so appreciate that you know and that you can educate your partner on the fact that the minute you've created that bond, I am here for both of you.
Yeah.
There is never a time where I am like, screw your partner because of what, you're my friend. No. That's not how I think at all. I'm like, we are in it.
Yeah.
And I want you all to be okay. And here's how I feel like we can help the situation or whatever. But that conversation led to a conversation about emotional maturity. And I said, Nina, you have come so effing far in the last 2 years, because I think previously, if your partner had said, oh, I think she's really upset, you might have thought, oh, well, maybe she is upset and maybe we did something wrong and maybe I should do something different. And instead of caving to that and letting that be your influence, she stood on her own 2 feet and said, no, I know Erin, and she just loves us so frickin' much. This is what her love looks like. And so it's that level. Influence can have such a drastic level on what happens specifically when all parties are not able to stand on their own 2 feet, are not able to understand what emotional maturity in a relationship looks like, right?
Yeah.
And what she said at the end was beautiful. She said, here's the thing. If we move forward with exactly what we think we're going to move forward for, no one is showing up stronger for us than Erin. She's going to show up and say, never is going to say, see, I knew this was going to be a shit show. Instead, she's going to say, great, let me come over. Let me figure out how to do this. Let's figure out when it does become an issue, how we're going to work through that together. That's right. But the impact of influence is just so big. And if we think about all of these outside forces that impact a relationship, my questions would be, who are the people that are influencing your marriage? They don't have to be direct. They can also be indirect, like your Mormon wives of Vegas or whatever the hell you were talking about. Let's get clear about what those people's motivations are. Do you find those people to be able to take other people's perspectives? Are they showing up for your partnership or are they showing up for you? And what does that look like? And what does that mean?
I think you need to have both. There needs to be support in both areas. Or the opposite. I do not want that. So what can I do to make sure I do not have that? Because that is not good.
Right. You mean the friend saying that?
No, just the whole thing. I don't like what that looks like. Like that model, that relationship, that concept, that does not look healthy. I don't want to be doing. I don't want that relationship. So those things are not good.
Yeah, that's kind of like where we're at. We see that all the time.
We're not doing that.
That dynamic is terrible.
Stay away from that. Abort.
Interesting.
And we're not. We're not experts by any means, but I think we've been through a lot and have come a long way. That when you see those similar things with other people, like you see, oh, they are where we were, and this is what we did to get out of that. And what are they doing? No, they're actually getting worse. Like their dynamic is getting worse, and it's kind of difficult to watch, especially if you really care about those people.
That's hard
to watch that happen and to not. Some people insert themselves in other people's relationships.
Yes, they do.
And just go, well, you got to do this. We're not really like that. And, it's kind of like,
unsolicited advice
Yeah.
never works.
If solicited,
Yeah.
if they say, God, what should I do in this situation?
Even if
Well,
it
this
is
what worked for
solicited,
us.
that doesn't work either. Yeah.
Right. Even
But-
if, when it is solicited, what you learn as a therapist is that when someone says, I don't know, what would you do? They really don't want to know what you would do. They just are looking for confirmation that they're in an okay
Yeah.
place.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And so related to that, what I would add is one thing I've learned in my own marriage journey is every single person's on their own journey and
That's right.
experience.
Yeah.
And there are factors that keep people in marriages that defy all sense of logic.
That's right. That's right.
And it's been beautiful for me as a highly black and white logical person to embrace that and to not just have such massively definitive logic table examples of if this happens, then this is what the outcome is supposed to be. It's so much more messy than that.
That's right.
Right? It's so much more complex than that.
That's right.
And that influence that comes in has to have an essence of, I know absolutely nothing outside of what I'm being told in this moment, which is a snapshot in time.
That's right.
And if the outside influence does not have that, they have missed or if they've overstated their role in this relationship because there's a million other tiny moments, experiences, examples, reasons that are impacting whatever is going on in that moment.
And what's right for you is not right for me.
Right.
And what's right for me is not right for you. And where you take a stance, I may not take a stance.
Right.
And even though, again, it comes back to the values and all of that stuff. And even though we're best friends and you may not value what I value and where I draw the line, you may not draw the line, but we have such a relationship in such a way that we look past those things and support each other and that kind of stuff because you can't be so hard and fast.
Right.
You just can't be. That's not how life works. And if life did work that way, it's very lonely.
Yeah.
Very,
And boring.
very lonely. And
Predictable.
right. And when you are so definitive, you're eating crow all the time. All the time. Because when you make flat blanket statements and then you find yourself in that situation and you're like, wow, I am not making that decision.
That's right. That's right. I can have all the excuses
That's
and
right.
the rationale that I want to. And then the minute I'm there,
Right.
I'm like, wow,
Not doing that.
this feels different.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
absolutely.
And then all of a sudden, all that judgment and all that shame you put on those people that you did before, and now you're in that place and you're like, okay, now I get it.
And why? Because it made you feel good as the person
right.
giving the advice to have a nice, clear cut, put in a box with a bow on it.
That's right.
Response.
That's right.
Right.
And reality is, life is fucking messy.
It is messy.
Life is messy, and there's if this, then that, if this, then that, to everything.
Yep.
And I always tell you, what do I always say to you? I raise my kids. There is no right and wrong. There is no right and wrong.
Yep.
Every decision has a consequence. I do not care.
Yep.
Every single decision
Yep. Good, bad, or ugly.
doesn't freaking matter.
Doesn't matter what it is.
And you're gonna have to deal with that.
Yep.
No matter what.
Yep.
And you just need to do what's right for you, and you need to be okay with it. And that's just the way life is, man.
Yep.
Just the way it is.
Yep.
So,
Yep. The good, the bad, the ugly. Who influences your marriage? I would leave you with that question. Who influences your marriage, and have they earned that seat at the table? Are you being skeptical enough? Are you thinking enough about how they're influencing? Do you like them there? Are they of value to being there? And what impact is that having on your marriage?
that's right.
In case you haven't noticed, our More Love sort of sections for this season are broken down into a couple different segments. And so that is, we do like 3 or 4 episodes associated with a segment. And that segment really wraps up our relationships and marriage and all of that kind of stuff, which leads us beautifully into the next segment.
I'm excited about it.
Which is on friendship.
Oh, the best kind.
So we are about to, in our next episode, let me see here how we worded it. Navigating adult friendships is what we're coming at you with next as we move into that part of the More Love Podcast Season 3. If you like us, please like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, tell a friend about us, get the word out about all things More Love. And whoop, hang on.
Turn the page.
Wait a minute.
Turn the page.
And until next time, keep feeling,
Keep questioning,
and keep spreading
more love.